Some things in life don't just happen, they are orchestrated. This moment, this message, that stirring in your spirit, it's not random, it's divine alignment. You didn't stumble across this video by chance. You were summoned. Summoned by divine timing, summoned because you've been wrestling with questions the world cannot answer. Because somewhere deep inside, you've always known you were born for more. This isn't just a message, it's a mirror, a recognition of who you are beneath the pain, the silence, the rejection, the delays. You are not broken. You are being built. You are not behind. You are being positioned. You are not ordinary. You are chosen. Before we begin, take a moment to declare what your spirit already knows. Your season is here. Drop a "I'm ready" in the comments, like this video, to lock in the energy, and subscribe so you never miss what was always meant for you. This isn't just content, it's confirmation. From the very beginning, you were never meant to fit in. You weren't created to follow the crowd or to walk the well-worn path of the predictable. Deep within your spirit, you've always sensed it, that quiet, persistent knowing that you were set apart. Different, marked, chosen. That feeling of being misunderstood, overlooked, or even resisted by others? It wasn't rejection, it was recognition. They didn't see you clearly because your light unsettled their shadows. Your presence challenged their comfort. People tried to define you, contain you, even ignore you. But the truth is, your soul was never theirs to comprehend. You carry a calling that doesn't conform to the world's expectations. You are a divine plot twist, the kind of presence that shifts atmospheres and shatters illusions, often without saying a word. So stop waiting for validation from a world that was never equipped to recognize your value. Embrace who you are, completely, unapologetically. Because once you stop questioning your difference and start walking in it, everything begins to make sense. The resistance wasn't the problem, it was the proof. You're not ordinary, you're chosen. And the world has no idea what's coming. Sometimes the hardest lesson to accept is that not everything or everyone is meant to remain in our story. When people leave, when opportunities fade, or when doors unexpectedly close, it's easy to believe we've lost something essential. But the truth is, what walks away was never truly part of your destiny. Its departure was a form of protection, not punishment. Rejection isn't a sign that you weren't good enough. It's evidence that your path is simply too unique for what tried to cling to you. Often we pour our hearts into relationships or dreams that can't carry us into our next chapter. Their absence, though painful, is actually clearing space for what is meant to find us. Holding on to what left only keeps you tethered to a place you've already outgrown. It's time to trust that the universe, God, removes what would hinder your growth and guides you toward higher ground. The things and people meant for you will never require you to diminish your worth or beg for acceptance. So breathe deeply, release what's gone, and know this: every exit is making room for a new entrance. What's truly yours is already on its way, and it will fit your journey perfectly. Not everyone who crossed your path had the eyes to see you clearly. Many tried to hold you with unclean hands, touching sacred things without reverence. They didn't mishandle you because you were weak or disposable, but because your value was far beyond their understanding. When people cannot comprehend your light, they will often try to dim it. They'll misunderstand your silence as passivity, your kindness as weakness, your depth as something to be corrected or controlled. But the truth is, they were never equipped to handle someone of your spiritual weight. You were not broken in their hands. You were simply never meant to be there in the first place. And yet, each time you were misjudged or mistreated, the universe took notice. What felt like abandonment was divine intervention. You weren't being discarded, you were being rescued. The harm they intended could not take root, because your calling is protected by something far greater. So don't carry the shame of how others treated you. Carry the wisdom, because the ones who mishandled you lost access to a blessing they were never meant to keep. From now on, walk with the quiet knowing. You are not to be approached carelessly. You are rare. You are chosen. Pain has a way of making us question everything: our strength, our purpose, even our worth. But what if the hurt you endured wasn't meant to destroy you, but to shape you? What if the very tears you shed in silence were watering the seeds of your destiny? Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every moment where the weight felt unbearable, it wasn't senseless. It was sacred. You weren't being punished, you were being prepared. Royalty is not handed out casually. It is earned in the fire, forged in the shadows, and revealed in resilience. The crown you're meant to wear doesn't rest on comfort, it rests on character. And character is carved in moments of deep pain. That ache you carry, it became your armor. Those scars, they're proof of your survival and signs of your rising. The very things that tried to bury you only planted you deeper into your purpose. You didn't just survive the storm, you became it. And now no one can take credit for your rise. It was born from fire, refined by struggle, and crowned by faith. So stop asking why it had to hurt. It hurt because you were destined to reign, and now it's your turn to rise. There's a unique kind of ache that comes when a door closes, especially one you prayed over, prepared for, and poured your entire soul into. But what if the very door you begged to open was never built for you? What if the closed opportunity wasn't rejection, but divine protection? We often mistake delay for denial, but chosen ones live by a different rhythm. When a door shuts unexpectedly, it's not because you weren't enough. It's because what was behind that door couldn't hold the weight of who you're becoming. Some doors lead to rooms filled with small expectations, shallow purpose, or people who would have dimmed your light to feel comfortable in your presence. And the one who sees beyond what your eyes can grasp ensured you wouldn't settle for anything smaller than the purpose you were born to carry. Stop revisiting spaces too small for your purpose. That door didn't close to break you, it closed to guide you higher. You weren't stuck, you were being positioned. The chosen don't chase closed doors. They create new destinies. One day you'll look back and thank God it didn't open. Because what's coming next won't just welcome you in, it will recognize your worth the moment you arrive. Opposition is not always a sign you're doing something wrong. It's often confirmation that you're finally stepping into who you were born to be. When you're chosen, your very existence becomes a threat to systems built on illusion, fear, and control. You carry light, and wherever light shows up, shadows are exposed. That's why you've been targeted. Not because you're weak, but because your presence carries weight. You disrupt comfort zones, reveal hidden agendas, and awaken truth where deception once ruled. The enemy doesn't attack empty vessels. He attacks the ones who are full of purpose. Like Daniel in the lion's den, your favor speaks louder than your voice. You don't need to shout to be noticed. Your obedience, your peace, your insight, they shake foundations in silence. And those who feel threatened by your elevation will often respond with envy, gossip, or sabotage. But don't fear the attack. It's proof that your anointing is active. What they plot against you cannot prosper because you are protected by something far greater than their schemes. You weren't chosen to crumble. You were chosen to conquer. So stand firm, because every attempt to bring you down only confirms how high you're meant to rise. Not everyone will understand your light, and they're not meant to. When you're chosen, your presence carries a frequency that disrupts the ordinary. You were never meant to fit in with the crowd. You were born to rise above it. That quiet tension you feel when others pull back as you step into your power, it's not in your head. Your growth confronts their comfort. Your confidence reflects what they're still hiding from. And your peace, your unshakable, quiet peace, disturbs those who thrive in chaos. But here's the truth. You weren't sent here to be liked. You were sent to leave a mark. The more you walk in your purpose, the more your light will expose what others try to keep hidden. Jealousy won't always speak, but it watches. And the more you rise, the louder the silence around you becomes. Let them talk. Let them misunderstand. You don't need applause to prove your power. You carry something eternal, something that doesn't need validation from temporary voices. So stop shrinking, stop explaining. The goal was never to be accepted. It was always to be unforgettable. You weren't made to be liked. You were made to be legendary. You've always noticed things others overlook. The shift in someone's tone, the silence behind their smile, the energy that enters a room before a word is spoken. You feel it all. That's not overthinking. That's vision, a gift only a few are entrusted with. You were given eyes that see beyond appearances. You sense what isn't said, discern what others ignore, and recognize truth in places where others are still entertained by illusion. That awareness sets you apart, and often it isolates you. But isolation isn't rejection, it's refinement. Some might say you're too sensitive or that you read too much into things. That's only because your clarity makes them uncomfortable. Your insight is a mirror, and mirrors force people to face what they've tried to avoid. But you weren't created to explain your vision to those committed to blindness. You were called to walk in it. You don't owe anyone an explanation for why you move differently or trust your instincts when others follow the crowd. Protect that gift. Trust what you see, because your vision isn't a burden. It's your compass. And those who walk by vision, not by noise, always reach places others can't even imagine. The world celebrates talent, loud voices, flashy gifts, invisible success. But in the realm of the chosen, it's not talent that unlocks favor, it's obedience. Obedience is what keeps you grounded when no one is watching, faithful when doors are still closed, and aligned when your emotions beg you to quit. You've seen people with less skill rise before you, and maybe you question your worth, but talent alone doesn't sustain what divine purpose requires. Charisma can open a door, but only obedience keeps it from closing. You were chosen not because you were the most impressive, but because you were willing to surrender, to show up, to trust the process, to follow the whisper, not the crowd. In the quiet places, your character was being built, and now that hidden obedience is about to open doors that talent alone could never touch. Stay faithful. Favor follows the obedient. Don't mistake stillness for failure. In the life of the chosen, silence is never empty. It's intentional. While others race ahead chasing noise and recognition, you've been called into the quiet to be shaped, not shelved. This is where your foundation is being fortified, where your strength is being built without applause. The silence you're walking through isn't punishment, it's preparation. Greatness is never rushed, and destiny doesn't bloom in chaos. While the world applauds movement, heaven honors readiness. And right now you're being readied, not for just any moment, but for a divine one. So don't panic in the pause. Trust it. The delay is not denial, it's strategy. When your moment arrives, you won't just participate, you'll command it. Because chosen ones are never forgotten, they're revealed in perfect time. When you're chosen, your rise won't always make sense to others. People will see doors open for you and wonder why it didn't happen for them. But favor doesn't follow formulas. It follows alignment. You weren't blessed because you were the loudest, the flashiest, or the most connected. You were favored because you endured in silence, stayed faithful in the shadows, and trusted when logic said to quit. To the outside world, it might look unfair, but they didn't see the nights you cried, the sacrifices you made, or the storms you survived. They see the reward, but not the refinement. Let them talk. Let them speculate. Their confusion is proof that what's on your life can't be explained. It can only be witnessed. You weren't chosen to be understood. You were chosen to be elevated. And favor will take you places effort alone never could. Breakthrough doesn't always arrive with warning. It often shows up in an instant. One moment, everything feels still. The next, everything shifts. That's how divine timing works. Not on your schedule, but always on time. You haven't been overlooked. You've been hidden, preserved for a moment that requires your full readiness. Every delay, every detour has been preparing you for what's coming next. And when it comes, it won't wait for you to feel ready. It will require you to be ready. This is not the season to be distracted. It's the season to be aligned. Keep your heart clear, your mind focused, and your spirit anchored. Because when the doors open, they'll open fast. And when your name is called, it won't be by accident, it'll be by design. Chosen ones, stay ready. Your breakthrough won't creep in quietly. It's coming suddenly, and it's coming for you. Everything you've endured, the silence, the setbacks, the broken places, was not in vain. It was never about breaking you. It was always about building you. Every closed door, every lonely night, Every moment you questioned your worth was a step in preparing you for a purpose greater than you could imagine. You weren't overlooked. You weren't forgotten. You were marked. Marked for impact. Marked for influence. Marked for something so uniquely powerful that no one else could carry it but you. The world may not have seen the fight behind your smile, but heaven did. And now the shift has begun. What once felt like delay is revealing itself as divine design. What once looked like loss was always alignment. You didn't come this far to give up now. You've been refined by fire, anchored by faith, and shaped by every storm you've survived. And now it's your time to rise, not just as someone who made it, but as someone who was meant to. You were never random. You were always chosen, and you weren't just chosen to survive. You were chosen to lead, to shine, to change everything. You were marked for this. Have you ever found yourself in the middle of pain you couldn't explain? Wondered why those you loved the most were the ones who hurt you the deepest? Why, despite your kindness, you were met with betrayal, rejection, and isolation? If you're listening to this message today, it is not by accident. You were drawn here by divine orchestration, not coincidence. This moment has been prepared for you. Heaven has aligned your steps, and now a revelation is about to collide with your life in a way that will change everything. What you're about to hear is not merely encouragement, it is a spiritual awakening. This message is for the chosen ones, those who have been misunderstood, cast aside, and spiritually targeted because of what they carry. Today the veil will lift, you will see clearly, you will understand deeply, and you will rise boldly into the purpose for which you were born. Rejection can feel like a wound that cuts deeper than words can describe. It's not just the silence after you've poured out your heart or the betrayal that came when you least expected it. It's the lingering question it leaves behind. What's wrong with me? Many of us carry that silent burden. We replay conversations, reanalyze our actions, and wonder if we somehow failed to be enough. We internalize the pain and assume the problem lies within us. But what if the rejection you experienced had nothing to do with your flaws and everything to do with your favor? You were never rejected because you were lacking. You were rejected because you are marked. Marked by purpose, chosen by God, set apart for something greater than those around you could understand. And the weight of that calling, though invisible, often triggers a visible response in the people around you. They didn't turn away from you because you were unworthy. They turned away because they couldn't handle what you carried. The enemy didn't attack you because you were weak. He attacked because you were dangerous to darkness. Your kindness, your spirit, your light, it exposed things they weren't ready to face. You didn't come with a sword, you came with truth. You didn't intend to expose, but your presence revealed. And for those who weren't ready for growth, your light felt like a threat. That's why they distanced themselves, misunderstood you. Their rejection was never the end of your story. It was God's redirection. He allowed them to leave so that you could stop shrinking yourself to fit in places never meant for your greatness. He removed the distractions so that you could rise without weights tied to your spirit. So it was never about you not being enough. It was that you carried more than they were prepared to receive. Heaven placed something on your life that the world simply couldn't comprehend. And now it's time to walk boldly in that truth. Pain is never easy, especially when it comes from people you trusted, loved, or tried to help. It leaves behind unanswered questions. Why did they turn on me? What did I do wrong? But sometimes the pain you feel isn't a sign of your failure. It's a response to your light. You see, when God places His presence within you, it shines. And whether you realize it or not, that light impacts the atmosphere around you. It exposes what's hidden. It reveals what others prefer to ignore. And often people don't resist you. They resist what you carry. You weren't trying to fix anyone. You were just living in truth, walking in purpose. But your light unsettled their darkness. Your peace disrupted their chaos. Your growth revealed their stagnation. And instead of leaning into what your life revealed, they turned away. This is why some people distance themselves, why relationships shifted, why certain circles grew cold. It wasn't because you were too little. It was because you were caring too much. Their discomfort wasn't about your flaws, it was about your calling. The oil on your life stirred something spiritual in the people around you, even if they couldn't name it. So don't let pain convince you that something is wrong with you. In fact, the resistance confirms the presence of something powerful. Your light is proof of your purpose. And every tear, every rejection, every uncomfortable moment was a spiritual reaction to what God placed inside you. The pain was real, but so was the purpose behind it. To truly understand the weight of rejection, we must look back to one of the most powerful stories in Scripture, the story of Joseph. His life is not just a historical account. It is a mirror, reflecting the experience of many who are chosen by God, but rejected by people. Joseph was a young man, favored by his father, and gifted with dreams directly from God. He didn't seek attention or stir up conflict. He simply shared what he saw, visions of the future that revealed divine favor and calling. Yet instead of support, he was met with jealousy. Genesis 37:4 says, "When his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his brothers, they hated him and could not speak peaceably to him." They didn't hate Joseph because of something he did. They hated him because of what he carried. His dreams revealed what they couldn't see in themselves. His favor exposed their insecurities. And rather than deal with their own hearts, they projected their pain onto him. So they stripped him of his robe, threw him into a pit, and sold him into slavery, all in an effort to silence the dreamer. But what they didn't realize is this: you can't bury what God has anointed. Joseph's rejection wasn't the end of his story, it was the beginning of his rise. Even in slavery, even in prison, the favor of God never left him. And in time, what was meant to destroy him became the very path that positioned him for destiny. This isn't just Joseph's story, it's yours too. The people who turned against you didn't do it because you were wrong. They did it because your presence stirred something in them they didn't want to confront. But just like Joseph, what they tried to bury will rise. Because when God places a calling on your life, no pit, no betrayal, and no rejection can stop what he's already ordained. From a young age, many chosen ones sense that they are different. You may not have had the words for it then, but you could feel it, like a quiet weight on your soul, a sense that you didn't quite fit. And that feeling wasn't your imagination, it was the mark of destiny. The truth is, the enemy often recognizes your potential before you do. He sees the light inside you, even when you're still unaware of it. And because that light carries power, purpose, he launches attacks early. Not because you're weak, but because you're dangerous to darkness. That's why you face constant misunderstanding, rejection, and loneliness. The enemy hoped to break you before you ever realize what you carry. But here's the miracle. He failed. You're still here. And that light, it's still burning. You see, when you carry divine light, you become a threat, not because you're trying to be, but because your very existence disrupts what others have grown comfortable with. You don't have to preach a sermon or quote a verse, just your presence carries a weight, a reflection, a mirror. And when people aren't ready to face what your light reveals, they react, they resist, they push away. Not because of something you did, but because of what you represent. You remind them of what they have avoided. Your boldness highlights their fear. Your purity unsettles their compromise. And your growth challenges their comfort. But don't let their response make you shrink. Don't dim your light to make others feel safe in the dark. You were never meant to blend in. You were born to stand out. And the fire inside you was placed there for a reason. Some of the deepest wounds don't come from enemies. They come from the ones who were close enough to touch you. The ones you trusted, the ones you let into your heart. That's what makes betrayal so painful. It often wears the mask of affection. Even Jesus, the Son of God, experienced this kind of pain. Among his 12 chosen disciples was Judas, the very one who would betray him. And Judas didn't betray Jesus with a sword or a shout. He betrayed him with a kiss. Luke 22:48 captures this chilling moment. But Jesus said to him, "Judas, are you betraying the Son of Man with a kiss?" This wasn't just a moment of betrayal. It was a lesson for every chosen one who would come after. It shows us that betrayal doesn't always come from outside. Sometimes it comes from within the circle, from those who smiled at you, stood beside you, and claimed to care. And yet, what Judas meant for destruction, God used for destiny. Without the kiss, the prophecy would not be fulfilled. Without the betrayal, the cross would not be reached. In other words, Judas didn't interrupt the plan, he activated it. The same is true in your life. Those who betrayed you didn't derail your purpose. They only helped push it forward. What they thought would break you actually positioned you for the very thing God had prepared. The pain was real, but so was the purpose behind it. So when betrayal comes dressed in love, don't let bitterness take root. Instead, recognize it for what it is, a divine setup disguised as a setback. What they meant for harm, God is using to lead you into glory. When people walk away from your life, it often leaves you confused and heartbroken. You replay every moment, wondering what went wrong, asking why they changed, why they left without warning. But what if their exit wasn't a loss, but a rescue? Sometimes God doesn't remove people to punish you. He allows them to walk away to protect you. You thought they were with you. You believed their words, trusted their smiles, and shared your heart. But God saw something deeper. He saw their intentions long before their actions exposed them. And when the time was right, he pulled back the curtain, not to hurt you, but to shield you from what was never meant to stay. Their departure didn't catch heaven by surprise. In fact, it was part of the process. God saw how their presence was weighing you down, draining your energy, clouding your discernment. And because he's a loving father, he stepped in, not to strip you of connection, but to make room for divine alignment. It may have felt like rejection, but it was really redirection. It may have looked like loss, but it was actually liberation. God wasn't breaking your heart, he was preserving your purpose. Psalm 118, verse 22 declares, "The stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone." What others walked away from, God is about to raise up as the foundation for something far greater. So don't mourn over what God removed. Don't chase after those he exposed. Instead, thank him. Because if they had stayed, they would have limited where God is taking you. Sometimes the greatest act of love is letting go and trusting that what left was never meant to carry your calling. There comes a point in the journey of every chosen one where God starts to rearrange the people around you. It can be painful, sudden distance, unexpected silence, or relationships that quietly fall apart. But here's what you must understand. Not everyone is meant to walk with you into your next season. The rejection you experienced wasn't meant to break you. It was meant to realign you. God is not only protecting your calling, he's preparing your circle. When he removes certain people, it's not to leave you empty. It's to make space for those who are aligned with your purpose, equipped to support your destiny, and capable of walking with you in purity and truth. You see, some connections were only meant for a chapter, not the whole story. You tried to hold on, thinking the bond was forever, but God saw what you couldn't. He saw their hidden jealousy, their quiet resentment, their inability to celebrate you without competing with you. So he allowed the separation, not as punishment, but as promotion. He removed what was temporary so he could establish what is eternal. Psalm 23:5 reminds us, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies." That means your elevation won't be hidden. It will be witnessed by those who counted you out. Don't resent who left. Rejoice for what's coming. The new circle God is forming will speak life into your dreams, protect your calling, and walk with you. Not because of what you can give, but because of who you are in him. This is not just a season of separation, it's a season of divine selection. And what's ahead will be far greater than what's behind. When people want to silence something, they bury it. And for many of us, that's exactly what life has felt like. Buried beneath rejection, covered by betrayal, pressed down by loss, it can feel like the end, as if everything God promised has been forgotten. But hear this truth. You were never buried to be forgotten. You were planted to grow. You are not a rock, lifeless and stuck beneath the surface. You are a seed, full of potential, designed to break through darkness. While others may have tried to push you down, God was preparing you to rise stronger than ever. the dirt they threw on your name, it only became the soil God used to anchor your roots. The betrayal that tried to break you, it became the pressure that shaped your character. What looked like your downfall was really the beginning of your development, because seeds don't die in the ground. They awaken, and in due time, they rise. Quietly, powerfully, unstoppably. Isaiah 61:3 says, God gives us beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning. That means your pain is not the final chapter. It's part of the process that leads to glory. They thought they were burying you to end your story, but God was planting you to begin your next season. What they meant to silence will soon speak louder than ever through your growth, your breakthrough, your testimony. So don't be discouraged by the dark places. Seeds grow best when hidden. And soon what God has been cultivating in secret will break forth in the open, for His glory. You weren't buried, you were planted, and now it's time to rise. There comes a time when words are not enough, when your spirit cries out for something deeper than comfort, something more powerful than sympathy. This is that moment. It's time to pray, not just with our lips, but with fire in our hearts and faith in our bones. Heavenly Father, we come before you today, not in weakness, but in holy boldness. We lift up every chosen one who has been walking through the fire, those who have been rejected, betrayed, overlooked, and misunderstood. You see their wounds, Lord. You hear their silent prayers, the tears they cry behind closed doors. But today we declare that their rejection was not their ruin, it was their refinement. The fire wasn't sent to destroy them, but to prepare them for the weight of glory you are about to release. God, pour out strength where there was weariness. Breathe life into dry places. Let joy flood where sorrow once lingered. Replace confusion with clarity. Break every chain that has kept your children bound in fear, shame, or insecurity. Reveal to them that nothing they've lost is greater than what you're about to release. Let every setback turn into a setup. Let every betrayal become a bridge to something greater. Father, raise up your chosen ones with power. Let their lives be living testimonies of your faithfulness. Surround them with divine connections, people who speak life, protect purpose, and walk in unity. And when you lift them up, Lord, keep them grounded. Keep their hearts soft. Let them never forget who brought them through. We seal this prayer in the mighty, unstoppable name of Jesus, and we boldly declare, a new season has begun. Amen. Chosen one, listen to me. You were never meant to blend in. You were born to stand out. The betrayal couldn't stop you. The rejection couldn't define you. The silence couldn't bury you. Because what God has placed in you is too strong to be silenced and too sacred to be stolen. Your light is rising. Your season is shifting. Your destiny is awakening. Let them talk. Let them walk. Let them doubt. Because when God prepares a table, He prepares it in the presence of those who thought you'd never make it. And He will anoint your head with oil so fragrant, so powerful, that even your enemies will have to say, surely the Lord is with them. Thank you for spending this time with us. If this message stirred something within you, don't keep it to yourself. Declare it out loud. I am chosen and I am ready. And if you haven't already, we invite you to subscribe to this channel for more powerful, faith-filled messages like this. Your support helps us keep spreading the light. Until next time, stay grounded, stay faithful, and never forget you are chosen. In the silent corridors of your everyday life, a ripple stirs, a subtle yet undeniable current of change. Imagine for a moment that every seemingly inconsequential act of kindness, every brave decision taken in the quiet moments when no one was watching, has not been lost in the vast tapestry of time. Instead, these moments have been weaving themselves into a grand design, a design meant only for you. Today, a wealthy stranger whose heart pulses with the energy of possibility extends a hand toward your destiny. You, the chosen one, are about to be relocated, not merely in body but in spirit, to a realm where your truest self can finally flourish. This is not a tale spun from idle fantasy. It is a call to action, an invitation to embrace a change that is as inevitable as the turning of the seasons. In these words, you will find the keys to unlock new doors, to step into a future filled with promise and purpose. Let's continue and let the power of your own hidden light guide you through a transformation that will echo through every aspect of your life. Chapter 1. The Hidden Seed. Take a quiet moment. Breathe in deeply. Now let your mind drift back, not to the grand triumphs or celebrated victories, but to a moment so small you may have forgotten it entirely. Perhaps it was a kind word to a stranger, a silent gesture of compassion when no one was watching, or a brave stand for what was right when staying silent would have been easier. That moment, fleeting and unassuming, was the planting of a seed. You didn't know it then, but that single act, offered without expectation, was powerful enough to bend the arc of destiny. Like a pebble dropped into still water, the ripples of your kindness have reached far beyond what you can see. They've traveled across unseen spaces, through hearts and stories and lives, whispering your name into places you never imagined. For life operates within a vast, invisible network, one woven from threads of energy, trust, and intention. And though your gesture may have felt small, the universe has not forgotten. Somewhere within that quiet current of connection, someone was listening. Someone who holds great influence. Someone whose presence is like gravity, subtle, steady, and capable of changing everything. A wealthy stranger, cloaked not just in material riches, but in wisdom and vision, has seen the light in you that others may have overlooked. They are drawn not by status or fame, but by authenticity, by the quiet strength that emanated from your one simple act of goodness. Now that stranger is preparing to intervene. Your life, once moving along its ordinary course, is about to be redirected. Doors you didn't know existed are creaking open. Possibilities you once dismissed as impossible are aligning with precision, as if the universe itself is conspiring on your behalf. You've been chosen not for what you wear, what you own, or even what you've accomplished, but for who you were in a moment when it mattered most. The world is shifting in your favor because you moved from the heart when no one was looking. So, take a breath. Feel it. That subtle yet certain pull towards something greater. It's real, and it's time. The seed has been planted. Now it begins to bloom. Chapter 2. The Invisible Network. Have you ever paused to wonder how things truly fall into place? How some moments, seemingly random, become life-altering, not by force or calculation, but by quiet alignment? Behind every sudden breakthrough or unexpected opportunity lies something more profound than coincidence. A hidden network, vast and alive, silently weaving your story into a greater tapestry. This invisible web connects us all, friends and strangers, mentors and rivals, through choices, conversations, and acts of kindness that ripple far beyond what the eye can see. It's a network built not on algorithms or intentions alone, but on energy, on sincerity, compassion, trust, and truth. Every good deed you've done, every time you chose kindness over convenience, creates a vibration. That vibration traveled, softly but surely, whispering your name into rooms you've never entered, stirring hearts you'll never meet. Picture a gathering in a crowded room filled with quiet chatter, where one person shares a story about something you did. Another hears it and passes it on, and eventually it reaches someone with the power to change everything, the wealthy stranger. He's not driven by surface-level success, but by substance. He listens between the lines, watching for authenticity, for stories that resonate with integrity and soul. Your story, quiet, sincere, real, found its way to him through the current of this unseen network. He sees in you what many have missed, a person of quiet strength whose impact echoes beyond applause. Your actions didn't need a stage. They spoke for themselves, and the network amplified them. Now visualize yourself as a glowing point of light, suspended in this lattice of human connection. The brighter you shine by staying true to your values, the more the threads around you begin to pull and align. You're not just a bystander in this web, you are a force within it, attracting the very future your soul was born to meet. So trust it. This isn't luck. This is the universe answering the energy you've been giving all along. Chapter 3, Stepping into the Unknown Change, at its core, is a dance with the unknown, a delicate, thrilling ballet between hope and hesitation. To leave behind what's familiar, even if it no longer fits, is to brave a storm of emotions. The flutter of anticipation, the ache of farewell, the whisper of fear. As you prepare to cross into a new chapter, you may feel that inner tremble. Will I make it? Can I trust this shift? What if I fail? These questions are not signs of weakness. They are echoes of a soul about to grow. You are standing at the edge of a wild, untamed river. The current rushes forward, fierce yet inviting, carrying the promise of a life yet unlived. Behind you lies the comfort of the known, the safety of repetition. But comfort is not always freedom. It can be a cage made of invisible bars. And now the river calls. It doesn't offer certainty, only possibility. To step in is to surrender, to trust that you were made for more than merely surviving. Packing your life into boxes, each item a chapter of your past, each goodbye a quiet release. You are not just moving your things, you are shedding your skin. This isn't a relocation, it's a rebirth. The wealthy stranger's offer is not just a change in geography, it is a mirror held up to your potential, urging you to step forward, not as who you've been, but as who you're becoming. And once you arrive, everything unfamiliar becomes a new invitation. New names, new customs, new lessons written into the landscape. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but know this: disorientation is often the birthplace of transformation. In learning to navigate what's new, you become someone stronger, wiser, freer. So before you step across that threshold, ask yourself, what anchors me? What do I want to carry into this new world? Let your values be your compass. Let purpose outweigh fear, because the truth is every great story begins with a step into the... Chapter 4. The soul's path. Beneath the surface of this physical relocation lies something far more sacred, a spiritual metamorphosis that has been quietly unfolding within you all along. While the world may see a change in scenery, your soul recognizes something deeper, a divine invitation to awaken, to rise, to remember who you truly are. Every challenge you've endured, every heartbreak, every closed door wasn't a detour, it was preparation. Life, in its infinite wisdom, has been shaping you through both pain and perseverance, gently stripping away all that is not essential. Like a sculptor revealing form from stone, your journey has been carving away doubt and fear, unveiling a core forged in fire and resilience. Now, standing at the edge of a new beginning, you're not just stepping into a new place, you're stepping into the light of your purpose. This new space you're moving into holds more than new people or unfamiliar streets. It carries energy meant just for you. The land itself may feel different, almost alive, pulsing with a quiet frequency that resonates with your soul. The community, the pace, the culture, it all mirrors something ancient and forgotten within you. This is not a coincidence. This is divine alignment. But for this inner evolution to fully bloom, you must create space for stillness. In the rush of change, set aside moments to breathe, to listen, not just with your ears, but with your heart. In solitude, you'll begin to hear the soft whispers of your soul, guiding you with wisdom beyond words. A stranger's smile, a lyric in a song, a dream that lingers, all are signs, gentle nudges from the divine reminding you that you are on the right path. Gratitude will be your grounding force. Be thankful not only for what is clear, but for what is still becoming. Mark this transition with a sacred gesture, a candle lit with intention, a letter to your future self, or a token that reminds you of your strength. Because this isn't just a journey of distance, it's a return to your truest self, where your spirit can finally stretch, breathe, and become. Chapter 5. Turning change into action. This move, this bold step into the unknown, is not the final page in your story. It is the match that lights the fuse. You've been given something rare, a divine spark wrapped in possibility. But make no mistake, this spark is not the fire itself. The universe has handed you the raw materials, but now it's your hands, your will, your vision that must shape the flame. This is your moment to turn transformation into motion. Your life now as a pliable piece of clay, resting on the wheel of reinvention. Before you lies a fresh palette, new surroundings, new tools, and vivid, untapped colors. The question is no longer if you can create, but what you will create. What dreams have been quietly waiting within you, whispering in moments of stillness? What passions have been packed away, patiently yearning to breathe again? Maybe you've longed to write that book, to start that project, to build something from your soul's deepest truth. Or perhaps you feel called to serve others, to give back in a way that reflects your values and unique gifts. Whatever it is, now is the time to give it shape. Speak it, write it, claim it. When you declare your vision with boldness, the world around you begins to respond. Words carry power. Writing down your goals becomes an invocation, a sacred commitment between your spirit and your future. In this new place, explore with intention. Say yes to unfamiliar paths, talk to strangers, join conversations, attend gatherings. Each interaction is a possible key, unlocking hidden doors to inspiration, mentorship, and connection. The creative energy you seek is already swirling around you, waiting to be claimed. But remember, creativity doesn't bloom in chaos alone. It needs rhythm, it needs discipline. Set aside space daily to work on your craft. Let small steps become sacred rituals. When setbacks come, don't retreat, pivot. Let failure become fuel. Let discomfort teach you. And above all, let courage lead. You've been given the opportunity. Now give the world your response. Step through the open door. Dream louder, build braver, leave a mark that no one else can replicate. This is your time. Chapter 6. Embracing the flow of life. In the midst of this sacred transition, you begin to sense a deeper truth. Life is not something to be controlled or conquered. It is a dance, fluid and alive, unfolding in rhythm with your willingness to move with it. Each moment, each shift invites you into a choreography of both intention and surrender, where purpose meets spontaneity and certainty gives way to wonder. A powerful river carving its way through the land, sculpting the earth not with force alone, but with grace and persistence. This river is the energy now moving through your life, sometimes gentle, sometimes wild, always in motion. Your role is not to resist its current, but to trust it. To let it carry you, shape you, even as the destination remains hidden in the mist. The path is not meant to be fully known. It is meant to be felt. In this divine flow, flexibility becomes your compass. The familiar may dissolve. Expectations may fall away. Yet within the uncertain, something beautiful stirs. Listen closely to the soft nudges, the small signs, the passing comment, the sudden thought, the serendipitous meeting. These are the universe's whispers, guiding you through the fog. Hold tightly to your values. Let kindness, truth, and courage be the anchors that steady your soul. When fear creeps in, when doubt knocks, return to the foundation that has always held you. These values are not just principles, they are your roots, grounding you in the storm, allowing you to bend without breaking. And as you flow forward, you'll encounter others, fellow travelers who are also learning to trust the rhythm of life. Share your stories. Listen to theirs. There is magic in mutual vulnerability, in finding harmony within the chaos. Together, you create a symphony of resilience, each person an instrument, each life a melody of transformation. You are not adrift, you are dancing. You are not lost, you are flowing. And every step, every stumble, every leap of faith is a note in the masterpiece that only you can compose. Chapter 7. Living with Purpose. You've taken the leap, you've embraced the unknown, allowed change to shape you, and now you arrive at a sacred threshold, the call to live with purpose. This moment isn't just about where you are or what you're doing. It's about who you are becoming. With every sunrise, you're handed a fresh canvas, a chance to paint your life with meaning, boldness, and truth. Your journey as a book is still being written. The earlier chapters hold pain and progress, heartbreak and healing. Every struggle has sharpened your wisdom. Every quiet triumph has carved depth into your character. Now the blank pages ahead wait eagerly for your pen, for the version of you who is no longer surviving, but fully alive. Living with purpose goes beyond achievement or recognition. It's about pouring significance into the smallest acts. It's found in how you love, how you serve, how you choose integrity when no one's watching. In your new environment, opportunities to make a difference will present themselves like open hands, moments to mentor, to uplift, to smile at someone who desperately needs light. Your presence alone can shift the energy of a room. Never underestimate that power. Purpose thrives in reflection. Carve out daily space to return to yourself through journaling, silent walks, or whispered prayers. Ask, are my actions echoing my values? Am I aligned with what truly matters? In stillness, clarity blooms. And in gratitude, abundance flows. The more you notice what's beautiful, the more beauty seems to arrive. True leadership isn't found in titles. It lives as an example. In the quiet courage of showing up authentically, be the one who listens deeply, who lifts others when they falter, who leads by simply being real. Every small gesture becomes part of a greater mosaic, a life that doesn't just touch the world, but transforms it. Even the tiniest progress matters. Trust that the universe is working behind the scenes to elevate your purpose. Your story, uniquely yours, is already a beacon. Let it shine, and others will find their way by its light. Chapter 8. The Ripple Effect. Now, as you stand at the edge of this new beginning, take a breath and look back not with regret, but with reverence. Every choice you've made, every brave word spoken, every quiet act of kindness has echoed far beyond your own life. You may not have seen it, but those moments created ripples, subtle waves of influence that continue to move through the world, touching hearts and shifting destinies. You are part of something far greater than yourself. Your life is a thread woven into a magnificent tapestry of souls, each adding their own color through trials, triumphs, and transformation. Whether you realize it or not, your story has become a light to others, a testimony of resilience, a whisper of hope, a spark that might ignite someone else's journey. Think of all the connections you've made along the way. Each person you've impacted, whether for a moment or a season, forms a link in a powerful web of growth and healing. This is the ripple effect, a single act of courage inspiring another. One seed of compassion blooming into a forest of change. Your journey is not just yours anymore. It now belongs to those who've witnessed it, learned from it, and been inspired because of it. As you move forward, do so with intention. Know that your every step has weight, your every word carries possibility. You are no longer just responding to life. You are shaping it. You've become an architect of change, a steward of purpose. Encourage others to rise with you. Share your story freely. Give what you've gained. The wisdom you hold is not meant to sit silently, it's meant to circulate, to multiply. When passed from heart to heart, it becomes legacy. This relocation, this shift, wasn't just a move, it was a symbol, a sacred sign that you were ready for more. The wealthy stranger wasn't your answer, only your signal. The rest, that's you. And what you do from here will continue to ripple outward, long after you've passed through this moment. Chapter 9. The Awakening. Awakening is not a thunderclap. It isn't a single earth-shaking moment that changes everything at once. Rather, it arrives softly, like sunlight spilling through your window at dawn, quiet but undeniable. You begin to see that this journey you're on isn't about arriving at some final destination. It's about returning to yourself, layer by layer, day by day. Every sunrise offers you a choice: to hide behind old fears and limiting beliefs, or to rise with clarity and courage. With each passing moment, you are invited to peel back what no longer serves you. the doubts you inherited, the stories that dimmed your light, and rediscover the truth that has always lived inside you. This is the awakening, a gradual, sacred unfolding of your soul's original brilliance. It won't always feel profound. Sometimes it's a fleeting thought that shifts your mindset, a moment of peace after chaos, the soft recognition that you've changed. Other times, it's the tears that follow a breakthrough, or the strength you feel when you finally say no to something that once owned you. These small awakenings matter. Celebrate them, honor them. They are signs that you are becoming more of who you were always meant to be. As your awareness deepens, the universe will speak to you in whispers, a familiar melody that stirs something deep, a passing stranger who says exactly what you need to hear, a dream that gently nudges your heart awake. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations, markers on your path, proof that every choice you've made in faith has not been in vain. So write it down, document your becoming, let your journal become the mirror that reflects your growth. One day, as you flip through the pages, you'll witness the quiet miracle of how far you've come. The best chapters of your story are still being written. The world is waiting, and this time, you are more ready than ever to answer destiny's call. Embrace the change, honor your inner truth, and know that every act of love and courage will echo throughout eternity. May this journey guide you, empower you, and ignite the spark within to create a life of meaning, beauty, and limitless possibility. Your destiny is unfolding, and the universe is yours to explore. Thank you for joining in this transformational journey. Let's subscribe and comment 11 to activate a divine signal in the universe. May you carry this inspiration in your heart and let it guide you to the extraordinary life you were always meant to live.